Hello and welcome to episode 8 of my personal journey as I explore the Enchanted Map Oracle card deck by Colette Baron Reid as illustrated by Jenna Della Grottaglia. Today I thought I would start with yesterday's card already up on the screen. I want to try to make these videos a little bit more efficient and still pack in all the information I feel called to put into it. So yesterday I had asked on the new moon, what did I ask? What do I need to release in order to allow new ideas to sprout, grow, and flower over the next 2 weeks? And again, I use the words sprout, grow, and flower because those are associated with the phases of the moon between now and the full moon in the next 2 weeks. So I pulled number 22, intention, and again, it was pointed out to me by a subscriber that, oh, yesterday was the 22nd, and I pulled number 22. There were a lot of, for those of you in numerology, there were a lot of twos going on yesterday. Second degree of Gemini was where the new moon was, 5/22/20. There were a lot more. So interesting that I pulled that. And the other thing that came up immediately after me shutting off the video was like, duh. I said, I was moving up the card in terms of my description of it, and I got to the dandelion, and I don't know if it was just like I was so focused on that damn egg or what, but when I got to the dandelion, I don't know what's going on with that. And I kind of fumbled some kind of, response, but the minute I got done with the video, I'm like, oh, duh, those are the seeds of my intention, right? And they're manifested by giving them away to the divine, to the universe. So animals, the owl, taking that and just distributing those seeds of intention where they need to go. The wind, Mother Nature, if you will. So that was kind of like, okay, I got it right after I shut the video off. And I just want to point out at this moment that in the work that I do in my practice, it is so much easier for me to work with other people and talk to them about symbols and images in cards. When I know I'm doing that for myself, there's almost a barrier or some kind of cloak that happens. It's like, I don't see the obvious necessarily. And that is one of the reasons I like to do work with what I call a witness. I do a lot of work by myself, but it's also important for me to share what I'm doing. And I don't have to share everything. Of course, I am on these videos, but behind the scenes, the work that I do, it's important to share because somebody else is going to see my blind spots. They're blind for a reason. I can't see them, right? And so if I'm in dialogue with somebody else, or at least having somebody else witness my process and my story, then I can hear from them and understand a little bit differently from another perspective and maybe open up that unconscious or subconscious part of me. And so that is actually what I do for other people in my practice. I take, it's a great privilege and honor for me to walk a path with you, to walk with you, hear your story, hold that sacred space for you. And sometimes I don't have to say anything. Sometimes, I say a lot, but just that reflection and knowing that somebody sees you and hears you and loves you unconditionally without judgment. That is so powerful, right? So that is the story about that card. Now I'm going to pause the share and hopefully I'm going to stop the share and hopefully get me back on the screen. Hello, I think I'm back on the screen. I'll put that up there. Okay, so Let's go ahead and get grounded. Take some deep breaths. Do some. Ooh, a little crepitus going on there in the neck. Blow those seeds of intention out to the world. No right or wrong way to shuffle. Again, if you're new to these videos, I clear my deck by saying Ho'oponopono prayer mantra. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I noticed something I've started to do recently is that I shuffle on both sides. So like now I'm, the cards are in my right hand and I'm using my left hand to move the cards. And then I do this a little bit. For me, it just feels more balanced. I'm very right dominant. And so I'm more conscious of using the left side of my body in things that I do. So that's just something that came up for me. My intention today is to be kind and compassionate. I intend to be kind and compassionate in all that I do and say, in every interaction that I have today. I intend to be a clear vessel without ego getting in the way of Spirit's message today. I intend to only speak the truth, and I do this only with love and light. And today I am going to ask, what do I need to know to stay in alignment with the divine for my highest good for today and tomorrow? Because I've decided I'm taking tomorrow off, and so I'm going to do a reading for the next 48 hours, and I will be back on Monday. But for today and tomorrow, what do I need to know to stay in alignment with divine source for my highest good? Interesting, because I pulled Talisman, which is, again, if you've been watching the series, this might have been the first card I pulled, or it was one of the early cards I pulled. So I am going to attempt to share my screen again, since I think I'm techno savvy and able to do these things, right? Come to the forefront, and that is number 49. And I'm really excited because, oh, it's not as big as the other ones. I wonder why that is. Let me hit that. Okay, it's a little grainy when it's big. So, but it's still better than what I had been showing you. So, and I'm excited because I didn't get to share this card in this much detail with you the first time I pulled it. I do think it was the first card I pulled. So today I'm going to see, if I feel into it any differently. And interestingly, what I noticed different today is what's going on her sleeve, on her right arm. I don't think I pointed that out when I drew it the first time. I saw a dragon in there. And now I see a fish, so I'm not sure, what's going on there, but I definitely see something there. I just love that blue orb she's holding. And again, all the symbolisms, on the path, and on the back of her left shoulder. You could probably see that now. Again, it looks like some runes or some basic geometric patterns. And I don't know if you can see the scroll at the top that I had referred to in the past, but that again catches my eye. But today I am definitely drawn to that sleeve. Um, Interesting, and that's on the right side, and I was talking about being right dominant. So um, that yang energy, perhaps. I smile when I pull this. I love this card. And again, I think it's very telling that her back is to us, you know. So I feel like she's made the decision to take the path that she's going to take, and she's got all of her touchstones with her, right? Um, Her symbols, her orb, you know, everything that holds wisdom along with her on this path. Um, and so, you know, what do I need to know about staying in alignment with divine today and tomorrow? And again, let's read number 49 from the guidebook. And I feel very good. I feel refreshed. I feel a sense of renewed, that I'm renewed. A lesson truly learned is crystallized as earned wisdom. You have all you need for the success you seek. Wisdom allows you to recognize traps on the road and familiar patterns that you want to avoid. It also enables you to quickly gather information about where you are on your journey. It helps you recognize your allies and know how to find the best routes along the way. Now you're at a place where you know the right things to do and the best choices to make. You really can't commit a mistake. Whatever your inquiry, great fortune awaits you, for you have the wisdom to arrive at the right decision. You've earned your lessons and earned the right to your success. So the last time I pulled it, it was in reverse. And so now, so that is a little bit of a different message. So this time it's in the upright position. And it has a little bit of a different meaning. When I had pulled it in reverse, I was at a point that day. And again, that when I pulled it, it was for that 24 hours. I had to be aware of some repetitive patterns in my life, you know, and it talked about things that are familiar, um, maybe easier. You know, taking that unfamiliar road is not as easy for us because it's unfamiliar, right? It's not as comfortable. Um, and I really went on you know, one of those deep dives about the word talisman, right? And so this is a totally different feeling for me today. Pulling this, I'm not as focused on the word talisman as I am wisdom. And so I'm hearing a lot about wisdom in the upright. Wisdom is going to allow me to recognize those traps in the road that you know, when I take that familiar road, that repetitive pattern, even though I know there's a big hole in the middle of it, um, now I've got the wisdom to recognize those traps and say, there was a trap in that one. You know, based on my knowledge and experience, because to me that's what wisdom is the, you know, knowledge plus experience equals wisdom, right? So, you know, now I can use my wisdom and say, this is a better decision for me, even though it's not comfortable, it's unknown. I'm going to go this way. Um, I pulled the card Wisdom yesterday in a different deck, different reading, with some of my friends, and so you know, I'm like, okay, there's you know, a connection to that as well. Um, I need to pay attention and think about that wisdom these next 2 days. How do I stay in alignment with my divine over the next 2 days? Sit in my wisdom, allow my wisdom to bubble forth. Have the courage to lead with wisdom. And then thinking about wisdom as my talisman. Um, a lesson truly learned is crystallized as earned wisdom. You have all you need for the success you seek. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. One thing I will leave you with before I leave is a lot of folks have told me that, wow, you're doing these readings for yourself, but I got so much out of it for me. And that is something I learned that Colette calls it Cledon, Cledon. And that basically means, and that's an old word, it's really, I don't think, used commonly anymore, but that means that you get something out of the reading, even though I did the reading for myself. That's a Cledon. Um, it really resonated with you somehow. So that's part of that magic, right? That's part of that synchronicity. Um, so I just wanted to leave you with that little bit of information. And so at this point, I will say goodbye for the weekend and I will see you Monday. Namaste.